All right, let's talk about section 2 of the IELTS listening test. You know, that long solo speech that makes a lot of people nervous? Well, guess what? We're about to crack that code. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to turn what feels like a major hurdle into your highest scoring section. Let's do this.
Yeah, you know exactly the part I'm talking about. You hit play, and it's just one voice going on and on. It might be a tour guide, a radio host, whatever, and it can seriously feel like you're just trying to keep your head above water. It's a lot to take in, right?
But here's the thing. What if we could flip that feeling on its head? Seriously, what if that monologue is actually your biggest opportunity? Because with the right game plan, you can totally predict where it's going, anticipate the answers, and make section 2 your secret weapon. So let's build that game plan right now.
Okay, so what are we actually dealing with in section 2? It's pretty straightforward, really. It's always one person speaking, a monologue. You've got 10 questions to answer, and they're usually split into two parts. And the topic? It's always something from everyday life. So think, a welcome talk at a local club or a radio piece about a festival. Nothing too academic.
Now, one of the first things you've got to tune into is the tone. Is it informal or formal? Sometimes it's going to sound like a tour guide talking directly to you, using simpler, more interactive language. But other times, it could be a formal radio broadcast, with longer sentences and maybe some trickier vocab. Just being ready for that switch is a huge part of the battle. Okay, listen up, because this is probably the most important tip I can give you for section 2. Your biggest advantage isn't just your ability to listen. Nope, it's the preparation time they give you. You get a total of 90 seconds, what I like to call the golden minutes. And trust me, how you use them can literally make or break your score. Let's map out your master plan for those precious seconds. So here's the breakdown. You get 30 seconds before the audio even starts. Use every single one of them to analyze that first set of questions. Then, right in the middle of the monologue, you get another 30-second pause to prep for the second set. This is a massive gift. And finally, at the end, you get 30 more seconds. And no, that's not time to relax. That's your rapid-fire check for spelling and word limits. Every single second counts. All right, so with that prep strategy in mind, let's tackle one of the question types you'll almost definitely see, labeling a visual. They give you a map or a diagram, and you have to fill in the blanks as you listen. It can look kind of scary at first, but I promise there's a simple system to beat it every time. The real secret to acing these map questions, it's all about vocabulary. The speaker isn't going to say, and now we go to the library. No way. They're going to use descriptive language. They'll talk about shapes, positions, qualities. So knowing words like adjacent, circular, or in the far corner is absolutely key to following along.
Okay, so every time you see a map, here's your 3-step action plan. Super simple. Step 1, find your starting point. The speaker will always tell you where you are to begin with. Step 2, follow the question numbers. The audio will move in the exact same order as the questions on the page. And step 3, use the labels that are already there, things like box office or main hall, as your anchors to track where the speaker is going.
And now, multiple choice. Everyone's favorite, right? Well, in section 2, this question type is basically designed to be a trap. But the good news is, there's a huge mistake that nearly everyone makes, and we're going to make absolutely sure you don't fall for it. Seriously, I need you to remember this. The source material is so clear on this point. In your 30 seconds of prep time, reading the question and all the options, A, B, and C, is, and I'm quoting here, wrong. Dead wrong. And here's why. Those wrong options are packed with distractor words. They're designed to sound familiar and trick your brain into picking them even if they're not the right answer. So what's the right way to do it? It's simple. During your prep time, completely ignore options A, B, and C. Just read the question itself, what we call the stem, and underline the keywords. Your only job is to listen for the answer to that specific question, not to go hunting for words you might have glanced at in the options. I'm telling you, this one change will radically improve your accuracy. Okay, last but not least, let's talk about sentence completion and short answer questions. They might look a little different, but they're joined at the hip by one critical rule that can absolutely make or break your score. And that rule is the word limit. Before you do anything else, before you even think about listening, your first move should be to find and circle the word limit. It'll say something like, no more than 3 words, or 2, or just 1. And let me be clear, if it says 3 and you write 4, you get 0, even if the right answer is in there. They are that strict about it. No exceptions. All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty of counting words, because it's not always what you'd think. First off, a number, like 25 or 1998, that counts as one word. Easy enough. A hyphenated word, like state of the art, that's also just one word. And here's a little bit of good news. You don't have to worry about contractions like don't. They won't be on the test. You'll always hear the full phrase like do not.
And one final critical detail for these questions that can cost you easy points: capitalization. It totally matters. Proper nouns, we're talking names of people and places, days of the week, months, titles like Mr. or Doctor, all of them have to be capitalized. Getting this wrong can mean you lose the point, so make it a habit to double check during that final review time.
And there you have it. That's the code to Section 2 completely cracked. You see? The strategy is actually pretty simple, but it is so powerful. It's all about using those golden minutes to analyze, not just to read. It's about knowing the specific tactics for each question type, maps, multiple choice, short answers. You're not just a passive listener anymore, you're an active hunter, and you've got a plan.
So, the next time you sit down for that test and get to Section 2, you're not going to feel that dread. You're going to feel prepared. You know the layout, you know the traps to avoid, and you are totally in control. So the only real question left is, are you ready to press play?